in layouts, and today I have a process video for you using my sunshine stack from Die Cuts with the View. And I am using pictures of the boys when they went to Universal with their mom. And I'm so lucky that she sends us pictures of the boys when they're together and doing adventures out together. And so these were pictures of the boys in their cute little Thing 1 and Thing 2 shirts. So I wanted to document something with that type of feel to it. And I felt like this paper had a Cat in the Hat type feel to it, because the paper that I do end up using, it has some of the alphabets, some polka dots, and that background paper has butterflies and flowers on it. So I think that it really brings out the Cat in the Hat feel. So I am piecing this all together, and I didn't use a sketch or anything on this one, so it's really just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. How am I going to arrange these photos? And when I don't have a starting point, I tend to struggle. So you're going to see me struggle a lot in this layout. And so right now what I'm trying to figure out is I did want 4 of the photos, these photos that are portrait style, to span across the 2 pages. So then I was just trying to figure out how to work the other page or the other 2 photos. And I know that there's the rule of thumb that you should have your photos looking inward as opposed to off the page. But that photo that is there of Jackson, who's Thing 1, I don't know what he was looking at or what he was doing, but it actually looks like he's off wondering and thinking about something. And that actually ends up being my title, is Think and Wonder, Wonder and Think, which is a Dr. Seuss quote. So I felt like having that picture look off the page was a kind of a tie into the Think and Wonder title. So I have had this stack for a very long time. So I'm trying to actually use it up because I think it's going to be one of those that needs to go to the giveaway pile soon, because I have made probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 layouts with it. And I really try to get a lot of use out of my paper pads, especially because I feel like there's a lot of paper in there, obviously. And I really like to use it up, or try to use it up, before I donate it and things like that. So, but this particular paper pad, every time that I try to use it, I think I struggle, because if you look at that letter paper that's up there at the on the left hand side, it is very distressed. And that teal paper that I'm working with, it has like a not a glitter, what is that, like a sheen to it. It's like shiny, and then the polka dots, which I'm going to add here shortly, are really shiny. And so it's a weird combination between the dark colors that appear very muted and altered, and then this shiny paper. And so I struggle a lot with this paper pad. I did take this tip from, I'm not sure who it was on YouTube, but she had said that she sometimes inks the edges of her photos to let them stand out a little bit more. And I thought that was a great idea for these particular photos, because I didn't want to mat them again, but I did want to give them a just to be able to stand out just a little bit. And that's what she was talking about in the video. And if I remember to link, I'm sure I can find that video pretty quickly. So I pulled out this cut apart that says Little Star, and I thought that that was kind of cute because it plays into a different Dr. Seuss book, the one with the animals with the stars on their bellies. I don't remember the name of that book, but I thought that that played well into this theme of the Thing 1 and Thing 2 and Dr. Seuss and things like that. So that is actually going to be just I'm going to add that on and add a few embellishments to it. And so it's just a little extra there. But this is that paper that I was talking about that's very shiny. And so I end up putting it underneath the right-hand side, and then I end up adding to another piece on the far left-hand side as well. So I did cut it a little short, so I ended up taking a scrap piece that is like the teal color and put it there on the edge, and then you can't even tell because it all kinds of flows together. I'm trying to decide where to put this paper, and so I pull out my notebook punch and I punch a border on it, and then I trim it up to fit next to the paper on the left-hand side. And I really like the way that that comes in. And like I was talking before, like the shininess of that polka dot paper and the distress of that number paper, I just went with it. And so I put them right side by side, and I think that it really does add to the layout, gives it a lot of dimension. So I just put everything down, I adhered everything down, and I cut all that out because I'm sure that you guys know how to adhere paper. And now I'm going to start with the embellishments. And if you guys know me at all, you know that I struggle with embellishments if you've followed my channel. I have pulled together my book that I got the idea from RTS Scrapbooking, Janet at RTS Scrapbooking. She has all of her embellishments by color. So I decided to follow that as well. And then what I do is off camera, I'll go through the book and pick out things that I think will work, and I add them to a piece of wax paper. So then it makes it a little bit easier to narrow down my selection. So then I have just this small piece of wax paper that has different ephemera on it, and it helps with getting that overwhelming feeling of so many embellishments that you could possibly use. So I am adding to the bottom, I'm adding all over, but to the bottom right cluster, I did add a paper fan and the words best ever on top of the journaling block over there. And then I also added this like black looking star. And then what I'm doing on the left hand side is I'm adding that ampersand, and it's actually going to play into my title, but I'm going to take it up and move it around a little bit. So I have this little tiny word phrase that says siblings, which I thought was perfect. I did add a gold starburst to the left-hand side, and I cut it in half and added the other to the far right-hand side. And now I'm adding these 3 brads that I pulled out, and I'm really trying to use up my brads because I have so many of these decorative brads that I want to get them used up. So I have this like black and white checkered print, a star, and then an ampersand as well. And also to that cluster, I'm adding just a little tiny gray camera that has glitter in it. And then at the very top, I'm adding this silhouette of a star. So I think I used the star in another layout, and I had this piece left over, but I felt like I could use it. So I I kept it and thought I could pull it out for another layout. So I added an arrow pointing back to the photos, and then I added this little border strip on the left-hand side with the date on it. And now I'm trying to figure out where to put this star because it is a transparent yellow star. So I had to put it on a solid piece of paper because I didn't want another background showing through. So I do decide to use my banner punch to punch a banner flag in that date piece there, and it just was too long, and so I was like, if I'm going to cut it, I might as well use my banner and give it a little flag. So I pulled out this My Guy ribbon award, which I thought was really cute because these boys are definitely my guys. And then I added some stars to that little star because little star. And I pulled out these stickers that I got from Tuesday Morning recently, and I have seen these stickers, I think, in like tons of process videos recently. When I first saw them, I actually picked up 2 of them because I love the real tall and thinness of these letters. So, and I'm thinking that other people like them as well because I've seen quite a few process videos with them. So I went to put it on the letter background, but then realized that they got lost very quickly. So I pulled out this orange diamond paper and put my title on that. And so the title says Think and Wonder, but I looked it up after I cut the camera or turned the camera off. And the saying is actually think and wonder, wonder and think. So I do add the wonder and think underneath that picture of the 2 boys, but I do that off camera. So I added this one chipboard piece that says Admit One since they were at Universal. I thought that was a good little adding piece to it as well. So that is it for me today. Thanks everyone for watching. I have a few detail shots and close-up shots of the layout, and I hope that you enjoyed this. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching and have a scrappy day.